got your snacks, got your drinks. Everyone say hi, YouTube. Let's get into it. Of course, the American. Is there anyone else? You know what I mean? Is there anywhere else? There just isn't. The following contains of extremely unsettling topics, including rape, abduction, torture, and extreme cruelty.
Hello there, bitch. I'm going to tell you in detail why you have been kidnapped, what's going to happen to you. You are obviously here against your will. You're going to be kept chained in a variety of different positions, usually with your legs or knees forced wide apart. You'll be raped thoroughly and repeatedly in every hole you've got. You're going to be drugged up real heavy with a combination of sodium pentothal and phenobarbital. You're not going to remember a thing about this little adventure or what has happened to you.
As the intro. Nah, that's sick. Yo, so he recorded it. Is this an audio? Did he record like a video or himself before he did? Yo, that's kind of fucked. GG's welcome to Kick. Shut the fuck up. Yo, that's kind of fucked though. That's mad. That's so mad. That's the intro, bro. Yo, that's mad.
Elephant Butte, New Mexico. A quiet retirement community 2 hours north of the Mexican border. Only about 700 households. Nothing ever happens here. You know your neighbor and everyone else in town, and they know you. You get up, you go to work, you see the same people, see the same places day after day. It's the kind of town that's so small and quiet, it's not uncommon for people to leave their homes unlocked. With an average income of $30,000 a year, it's not like you have anything worth stealing anyway. The idea of anything out of the ordinary or newsworthy happening in this town is pretty much inconceivable. Other than a few troublesome kids now and then getting into mischief, nobody really ever has anything to worry about. March 12th, 1999. 22-year-old Cynthia Virgil Jaramillo is running for her life down a dirt road.
Oh, this is a
covered in
drawing
blood,
of what happened.
wearing nothing
She
except for a metal choker collar padlocked to her neck like an escaped animal. Running for her life, her attacker hot on her trail. She desperately tried to orientate herself, shaking off the numerous amounts of forced drugs in her system designed to make her delirious, forgetful, compliant. She had no idea where she was, what day it was, where she could go. Had it been a couple of days? A week? She could only guess how much time had passed since she was taken captive. With no idea where she was, she only knew that she had to get away, and the danger was closing in on her fast. Finally, a trailer. A sign of civilization. She had no idea if it was safe, only knowing that the alternative was far worse. She had to try. She barged into the trailer, the homeowner startled and shocked at the bloody, bruised, and panicked naked woman barging uninvited into their home. It was immediately apparent that she was in trouble. Cynthia begged and pleaded with them to keep her safe, crying and pleading in hysterics as she tried to explain what had just happened to her. She collapsed on the floor and fell unconscious.
Must be all the fucking
What
drugs
had she
in her
been
system.
through? The homeowner called the police, who promptly came and rescued her, and arrested the man by the name of David Parker Ray. A man they would soon learn would be the stuff of nightmares that even seasoned investigators would have a hard time coping with.
Yo. His early life. Yo, though. That's mad.
David Parker Ray was a troubled man from the start. He was raised by his grandparents after his violent, severely alcoholic and abusive father Cecil left the family and moved to Albuquerque. His mother Nettie couldn't handle the stress of raising 10-year-old David and 8-year-old Peggy, so she dropped them off with their paternal grandparents and moved back in with her own family. The children rarely saw their own parents ever again, and neither their mother or father had any apparent bond with their children thereafter. David's grandfather raised them in an oppressively strict Christian fundamentalist environment. Misbehavior of any kind was met with violent beatings. A friend of David's would later describe his terror of his friend David's grandfather, saying, "His grandfather was very, very strict. He came from the old school where you had to be tough to survive. If his grandfather wanted David to do something, he'd jump. Maybe in today's terms he was abusive, but we called it being strict." Everywhere David went, he was exposed to violence and bullying. His father tormented him and beat him. Both his parents disposed of him. His oppressive grandfather beat him often and expected him to meet standards that hardly anyone could ever meet. And he was bullied and beaten at school so mercilessly. He was a loner, shy and reserved, and hardly opened up to anyone. He spent most of his time alone on his grandfather's ranch. The results of endless torment and beatings from everyone in his life had a profound influence on him and his development into puberty. His sister described finding lewd and violent pornographic images hidden in his room when he was 13.
Okay.
His taste for violence and bondage was early and never left him. Not only did it never leave him, it grew. According to multiple sources who knew him best, he boasted to the few people close to him that his first murder was at a very young age, as a young teenager, where he abducted a woman at knife point, tied her to a tree, and tortured her to death. Years went by as he became more deeply involved with sadomasochism and violence. He got married twice and met his third wife at the age of 27, 18-year-old Glenda Burdine, in 1966. They had a daughter named Glenda Jean Ray the following year, whose importance to this story cannot be overstated, and you'll hear more about her later.
Okay.
3 years after the birth of their daughter, David grew bored and left his family to join the hippie revolution in 1969. By this time, David, at the age of 30, was hitchhiking across New Mexico with a pretty blonde girl named Sally. They shacked up with the owner of a truck stop and his girlfriend. David's now pregnant girlfriend, Sally, confided in the girlfriend of the truck stop owner that she had lost her virginity to David and that she was pregnant. Days later, Sally and all her possessions were gone. When they asked David where Sally was, he shrugged, saying that she was a free spirit and had decided to leave. As disturbed as they were about this behavior from Sally, which they considered to be out of character after having gotten to know her, they had no reason to disbelieve David, and Sally was soon forgotten. David shortly thereafter got bored of the hippie lifestyle as well, patched things up with his wife, and moved back in with his family. Although he pretended to be the consummate father figure, he was anything but, getting deeper and deeper into the underground bondage scene. The years continued onward, 2 more failed marriages, and David moved to the quiet community of Elephant Butte, New Mexico in the 80s.
This is actually really fucked, you know. His first murder was when he was a teen, didn't get caught, ended up getting married about 3 different times, and his last marriage was to an 18-year-old when he was 27. First of all, who the fuck's goons at school? We reported him to the police. Fair enough, and as you should, I can't lie in it. Some people call that snitching. Me, I call it justice, to be honest, because what the fuck is he doing, innit? He did. Then kids. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted, bro. But this is also disgusting.
He would take up residence at 513 Bass Road the remainder of his life.
Elephant Butte. It's insane that Americans will put their address with their name on top of it.
Quiet, sleepy town of
in front of their
Elephant
houses.
Butte
That's
was
mental.
the
I
perfect
would never
place
do
to
such
hide
a
a
thing.
dark secret. A small retirement community of only about 700 homes, situated right on the shores of Elephant Butte Lake, an enormous reservoir of deep, opaque, algae-filled water. He spent most of the 80s getting deeper and deeper into the bondage community, becoming exposed to habits and deviancy and networked contacts that fueled his unbridled thirst for violence and torture. His behavior became well established, kidnapping women and young girls, torturing them for days to satisfy his deviant cravings, and then selling them into slavery in Mexico once he was done with them, conveniently only a 2-hour drive south from his new lair in Elephant Butte. It's worth noting that by 1984 he had begun boasting to his friends about his intimate knowledge about every square inch of Elephant Butte Lake, spending countless weekends there in his sailboat. He enjoyed water sports, boat parties, fishing. Though the lake had several species of fish, it was best known for the yellow and flathead catfish that prowl its depths.
What the fuck is that? Ugh! Bro, I don't want to see stuff like this. What the fuck is that? What is that? Phoenix, what's up, bro? Why isn't that shit on my screen, bro? What the fuck is that? Like, I know what they're talking about right now. It's very disgusting, very disturbing. What the fuck is that, though? What is that? Ugh! Yo! Nah, man. But I was gonna say, innit, before I saw this monstrosity on my screen, innit, I'm all for bondage, innit? Like, a little bit of bondage here and there on whatever lady I'm having Shangla-Hangla time with. But not to this guy's level. That guy, innit, is an absolute... He needs, like, actual help, innit? Like, he needs actual help, innit? Because whatever he's doing is fucked, bro. Like, he is into some dark stuff. Like, what he's doing is fucked, bro. I can't lie in it. Like, that's bad, bro. But whatever, man. Oh, I know. Shut the fuck up.
Reaching up to 80 pounds, and known for being voracious omnivores, eating anything and everything it came in contact with, including the occasional meal of human remains. David had a reputation of being a kind and gentle person who was kind to animals and routinely found injured animals to nurse back to health, a stark contrast to the darkness he secretly hid all his life. Friends who assumed he was speaking
psychos like animals, I guess,
recall him describing while on his boat the best places in the lake to hide a body. He described the need to cut them open to release outgassing, fill the cavity with stones, wrap them in chicken wire, and after dumping them in the lake, the catfish would take care of the rest. And the zero visibility and algae in the water meant that no one would ever find what the catfish didn't take care of themselves. David Ray's daughter, Glenda Jean Ray, who went by the nickname Jessie, was the spitting image of her father, who she adored. She rarely saw her father, who was constantly traveling, working odd mechanical jobs. Growing up, she was exposed at a very young age to her father's masochistic lifestyle, who did little to hide his deviancy from her. She grew up with not only a tolerance for it, but developed similar cravings and deviancy that she saw in her father. She only recognized that there was a problem with her father at the age of 19, when she witnessed a bondage torture session with a prostitute that resulted in the woman screaming for her life, fleeing naked out of David Ray's home in terror, never to return.
That's so fucked.
She filed a complaint with the FBI and gave a sworn complaint against her father. The astonished FBI agents listened as she told tale after tale of her deviant father kidnapping and torturing women and later transporting them to Mexico, selling them all into sexual slavery.
That's so fucked.
After bringing then 46-year-old Ray in for questioning himself several times, not only did he not hide his behavior, he gleefully told them in graphic, enthusiastic detail about his deviant lifestyle, telling them that he had been interested in bondage since the age of 13 and had been extremely active in the bondage community since the age of 28.
So he
even
told the
telling
FBI this.
agents that it was difficult for him to be satisfied until he thought of murder. As shocking and deviant as his behavior was, there was no specific crime that they could pinpoint, no victim that they could identify.
But he
Although
just
they had a near
admitted to
confession
murder.
from him, they were forced to close the report without further action, leading to another 13 years of kidnappings, torture, and murder.
13 years after, bro. So he told the FBI this. The FBI just took it as a pinch of salt, and because there was nothing, they couldn't do anything about it. So then he just kept on going for 13 years. Jeez, bro. This is what I keep saying about Americans, bro. They're so fucking stupid. At this point, a smart person or agency, after hearing a guy just say, he's talking about bondage, whatever, you're thinking, okay, right, well, I don't want to know about your bondage stuff. But then confesses that he's not satisfied enough, so he kills them. Or thinks about killing them, whatever. Regardless, kill is in the sentence. Would you not run tabs on this person? Maybe even get a wiretap or something. No. They let it go on for 13 more years. Insane, bro. Yo, Itchy, what you telling me, bro? You good, brother. Bro, this is insane, bro.
One of Jesse's best friends told reporters years later, this is like the last time Jessie tried to break away. To say to her dad that she saw his behavior and said, no, this is wrong. She reported him, and what happens? They didn't do anything. It was indeed the first and only time that Jessie cooperated with law enforcement about her father. It's believed that after this experience with the FBI, Jessie began to fully embrace who her father was, and he kept no secrets from her. People who knew them best described their relationship as close, uncomfortably close.
What does that
Jessie gave birth to a daughter herself a few years later in 1990.
What does that mean?
Denying all the constant rumors that the biological father was David Ray, her own father.
So that's what they mean by uncomfortably close. America, man. Jesus Christ. CS2 isn't that bad, to be fair. Fuck CSGO. No, I'm joking. I've actually never played it, but I'll just say fuck it until I actually play it. Maybe one day I'll play it. Maybe even this week. We'll see. You're falling for the trap. I injured my arm today. Roads and pavement are literally ice. I fell pretty hard at that. Shy. Have you got it checked? It's not broken, is it? It's probably bruised to shit. Oh, nah. I'm telling you, bro. This is that American Alabama shit, bro. Or just America in general, bro. Rumors that that your daughter is your dad's daughter. You had a baby with your dad. GG's, bro. I can't lie in it. It's fractured but not broken. Shit, sorry, Itchy, bro. At least it's not broken, that's true. At least it's not broken. At least it's not broken, but sorry, brother, man. I hope you're okay, brother. Good. See this home guy, man. He's an op, bro. Nah, what? You had a kid with your own dad. Oh,
emboldened
Jesus.
By his brush with the FBI, who had failed to pin him down for his decades of crimes, David Ray decided to push his deviancy and thirst for violence into a realm unseen before. An unparalleled mechanic and craftsman, Ray married his skills and passion for violence, torture, and unbridled deviancy into what would be his magnum opus. A kind of laboratory where he could put his decades of experience into the art of pain into practice.
Oh, he
purchased a 22-foot-long cargo trailer, hung up a handmade sign right inside that read, Satan's Den, and he got to work. He installed an air conditioning unit to keep himself comfortable inside. The toy box, as he called it, would be a constant work in progress over the years. It's estimated that he personally invested over $100,000 into it. It was escape-proof, soundproof, with a reinforced frame and a deadbolt lock.
I can't grab
The
anything
ceilings
above
and
3
walls
kilos
were
with
adorned
it.
with unimaginable horrors.
Because otherwise it just gives up
Elaborate systems
shit.
of pulleys,
Yeah, you're gonna have to let
gurneys,
your,
weights,
your arm heal, my bro.
pliers, clamps, whips, scalpels, chains,
Wait. Is that the inside of his torture box? Hold on.
with $100,000 into it. It was escape-proof, soundproof, with a reinforced frame and a deadbolt lock. The ceilings and walls were adorned with unimaginable horrors. Elaborate systems of pulleys, gurneys, weights, pliers, clamps, whips, scalpels, chains, padlocks, drawings and figurines of women in various methods of torture. Medical cabinets filled with
my
syringes
God.
and chemicals. There was a coffin lined with ventilation holes and various rings to restrain his victims as he sealed them shut inside. And
Thanks for
most
the lurk,
horrifying
Nachi.
of all,
Well, go.
an
It hurts
actual
like hell. Go
medical
sleep.
grade
Fair enough. Go sleep, my bro.
gynecological chair,
Hope that heals up soon,
modified
man.
to restrain victims and position limbs as he saw fit, positioned in the center of the toy box like a throne of pain. Hooked up to the head and the midsection were electrodes that he attached to a generator used to electrocute various parts of their bodies.
Oh my God.
In a move of absolute evil arrogance, he set up video recording equipment to film his dark crimes, installing monitors positioned so that his victims would be forced to watch themselves as he inflicted unimaginable pain upon them.
Oh my God. Is that the real
It's
footage?
believed that he filmed every single
It
session,
is.
selling the footage to his dark network of contacts in the underground bondage world, who had a high interest and were happy to pay top dollar for the most extreme footage and even snuff films that he shot.
Oh my God. Yo. So it wasn't an audio that we heard. Yeah, it was an audio, but wasn't like an audio, like an audio log. Bro, that was from the videotape that he took before he did what he did. Bro. Wild. Whoa.
His captive victims would be kept for days, sometimes up to 3 months, in unimaginable conditions.
He was given prompts.
Always careful
Was,
to
bro.
clean up and leave no trace of evidence, he made sure that none of his victims could be identified in the footage. He kept them until he was bored with them. No one ever saw the inside of the toy box unless you were a victim of it or a captor. It always began the same way, and he never deviated from his time-tested methods. His victim was abducted from the road, a bar, or by luring a prostitute into his shabby RV, violently beaten and shackled. He would take them back to 513 Bass Drive, keep them captive, chained to the bed, as he inflicted unimaginable amounts of pain, and then days later, they would be blindfolded and brought to the toy box. When the blindfold was removed, they found themselves strapped to the gynecological chair. Looking around, they would see the various tools of torture, syringes, other items that I'm too uncomfortable to hear myself say out loud. They would see David Ray hovering over them like a victorious predator. Then he would play the tape. His frequency of bringing new victims in led to him being tired of giving them the instructions himself, so he made a taped set of audio instructions, a kind of orientation to prepare his victims for the true nightmare to begin. I'm unwilling to read the words aloud, but
Should I? Fuck it. I'll read like. I'll read this bit, but if it's too much, then I'm not gonna read the rest. All right. Hello there, bitch. Are you comfortable right now? I doubt it. It's too blurry. Something chained, gagged, probably blindfolded. You are disorientated and scared. But something I would imagine perfectly normal under the circumstances. For a little while at least, You need to get your shit together, listen to this tape. Something very relevant to your situation. I'm going to tell you in detail why you have been kidnapped, what's going to happen to you, and how long you'll be here. I don't know the details of your capture because this tape is being recorded July 23rd, 1993 as a general advisory tape for future female captives. I think that's what it says over there. It's a bit blurry, but you know.
You heard a part of the original audio of that tape at the beginning, and I'll leave a link to.
The information I'm going to give you is based on my experience dealing with captives over a period of several years. If at a future date there are any major changes in our procedures, the tape will be upgraded. Now you are obviously here against your will, totally helpless, don't have something you are at, don't know what's going to happen to you, you are very scared, something very pissed off. I'm sure that you've already tried to get your wits and something loose, and no, you can't. Now you're just waiting to see what's gonna happen next. You probably think you're gonna be raped, and you are fucking.
A paste bin post.
Something's about. I think you're fucking right about that. Our primary interest is in what you've got between your okay.
With the full transcript of what each of his victims heard before this nightmare began.
You will be Jesus thoroughly and repeatedly in every hole you've okay, because basically you've been snatched and brought here for us to us. Oh my god, so there was more than one person taking okay. For us to train something sex slave. Sound kind of far out. Well, I suppose it is to the whatever we do it all the time. It's going to take a lot of adjustments on your part, and you are not going to like it a fucking bit, but I don't give a big something. That's it's not like you're going to have any choice about the matter. You've been taken by force and you're going to be kept and used by force. Something all this amounts to is that you're going to be kept naked and chained up like an animal to be used and abused anytime we want to. Anyway, that's something you might as well start getting used to it, because you're going to be something and used until such time as we get tired of fucking around with you. But we will eventually, in a month or two, maybe 3, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Wait, all these are not TOS. Oh, he's not reading it out loud. Oh, so it's only talking. Good to know. I'm gonna write it now. No, you can't write shit either. No, to be, because obviously it's. I'm trying to not say, it's not TOS if I change up the words slightly, and because obviously I'm not saying I'm reading what's going on the screen, innit? So I'm pretty sure it's fine, innit? It's just obviously just be careful, innit? But this is nuts, bro. Yo, this is nuts. Yeah, I think I'm not going to read anymore, to be honest, but this is actually nuts. What this guy is saying that he's going to do, and for how long, and basically you're a slave. Yo, yeah, I can't, yeah.
At the end of their captivity, they would be washed.
My lady friend and I. So the person who took part was another female. Have been keeping sex slaves for years. Involving, dungeon game, etc. We found it to keep 1 or 2 female captives available consistently to satisfy our particular needs. We are selective when we snatch girls For these purposes, it goes without saying that you have a fine but okay.
Thoroughly scraped of any DNA evidence.
Yeah, that's enough.
Given the clothes that they had come in months before, after months of being naked, and given a cocktail of very powerful hallucinogenic drugs,
this should be an 18+ stream.
The
I'm pretty sure it is.
Completely. Unable to identify what had happened to them, or even explain to their loved ones why they hurt so badly all over, or where they had been for so long.
Pretty sure it is.
It's impossible to know how many victims saw the horrors of the toy box.
Nah, but Jesus,
but years later,
flipping hell,
the
fam.
FBI would
What?
find hundreds and hundreds of tapes and photographs of his victims and their time inside. None would be identifiable.
No, but Jesus, though. Oh, these Jesse girl, right? Oh, yes, you're right. They said that his daughter was taking part. So the girl that's... you know what? Okay.
Except one. And it was all thanks to a blurry image of a tattoo. And this tattoo led them to one of the most important witnesses who helped convict David Ray.
Nah, but
the tattoo was blurry and hard to make out. But after enhancing the video as best they could, they released an image of the tattoo. A woman named Kelly Van Cleve soon came forward recognizing her own tattoo. She had spent time in Elephant Butte and was missing 3 days of her life that she couldn't account for, followed by severe bouts of depression, anxiety, and nightmares.
Oh, she was a victim. And she was on the tapes, and that's how they found... Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
In the summer of 1996, Kelly Van Cleve was a regular patron at a bar called Raymond's Lounge in the nearby town of Truth or Consequences.
Jesus Christ.
A year earlier, a woman named Jill Troya disappeared and hadn't been seen since, after a bitter argument with Jessie Ray, David Ray's daughter.
Now hold on, no, I have to keep watching. As fucked as this is, it's just, yeah. Just give me a sec, I'll be back. Okay. Am I lagging? Why would you be lagging, young sir? Are you lagging, young sir? Okay, apparently my wife has come on. She's playing Rainbow Six Siege. I thought she was banned. Alright, anyways, I'm back now, so let me do this. I'm back as well. I literally just came back now. Alright. That's the wrong thing.
Now assumed, but never proven, that Jesse was responsible for the disappearance. Kelly was having a rough time in a new marriage that she had rushed into, and had become good friends with Jessie Ray, David's daughter. One night, after a particularly nasty fight with her brand new husband, she stormed out and headed to Raymond's lounge to drink and vent her frustrations. She talked to Jessie about her difficulties and had a single beer. Other patrons and friends of hers left, and it was only her and Jessie. Feeling uneasy and disoriented from the drugs that Jessie had slipped her secretly into her beer, she decided she needed to go home. But her ride had long since departed. Jessie offered her a place to stay at her father's home in Elephant Butte and drove her there, where she was held at knife point, bound, and introduced to the toy box by Jessie and her father. 3 days later, David Ray drove her home to the in-laws, telling them that he found her wandering the beach in a disoriented state. As he returned her, they were fuming, assuming she had gone off on some sort of drug binge. Her new husband annulled the marriage. He and his mother laid into her viciously, telling her how irresponsible she was for leaving for 3 days and not telling anyone. Confused, destitute, unable to account for the missing 3 days, the bleeding that she was experiencing, and the injuries that she couldn't explain. She took the few belongings she had left, and then she left Elephant Butte. 3 years later, she was living in Colorado and remarried, but still suffering from the ordeal, constant nightmares, depression, and an inability to be intimate with her new husband, or even allow him to see her uncovered. She was haunted by the nightmares of being tortured and suspended in midair. Through psychological counseling, she was able to piece together most of the ordeal that she suffered over the course of 3 days in David Parker Ray's toy box. She was hardly the first, and certainly not the last victim to experience the horrors that she could now clearly see on the footage the FBI showed her of her helpless, naked body being put through unthinkable trauma.
Yeah.
The impressionable Roy Yancey was fresh out of the Navy in 1995. Clean-cut, proper, considered quite a charmer with the ladies, returned home to truth or consequences. A far cry from the young man who, in the mid-'80s, ran with a group of friends who many in the town considered a satanic cult made up of high school-aged renegades. They spent their time wrecking highly organized and...
Did they just say a satanic cult? Which was made by a couple of high schoolers. In Jesus' name, I promise you, I rebuke anything satanic that wants to potentially enter through my screen. I rebuke it. You are not stronger than God. You're not stronger than Jesus. You are weak compared to these two. Rebuke. Get away from me. You know what I'm saying? Get away from me, innit?
Unsettling havoc.
Welcome
sacrificing
back. Thank you,
pets
fish.
of neighbors, delivering messages with occultist satanic symbols just to people that they didn't like, and all sorts of mischief considered by police at the time to be criminal acts. Through police investigations, The best lead that the police got were continuous references to someone described as an older man named David, who recently had moved to Elephant Butte a few years prior, but they were never able to definitively confirm who this David was. Fresh out of the Navy with a new determination to walk the straight and narrow this time, he couldn't help but getting back into his old ways after becoming friends with Jessie Ray. The two were considered inseparable by people who knew them best. Although Roy was considered a decent person, he was highly impressionable, with a dark side that few saw. Jessie, who knew him best, nurtured this darkness over the course of their friendship. Jessie reintroduced him into the world of occult Satanism, which she had picked up from her father. It's unclear if Satanism was strongly held beliefs.
Bro. Imagine now, yeah, this guy is just whatever. He had a dark side to him, whatever, but he's done his time in prison. Imagine now, yeah, had he not have met this woman, maybe there could be a glimmer of hope. Maybe you could actually just readjust it into society, just change his ways, be like, you know what, fucking like, enough of this dark side bullshit, and let me actually like just reinvent myself. You know what I'm saying? Be a good person, be a good citizen, whatever. He could have been one of them. But this deranged, clapped, googly-eyed woman decided to mold him and nurture the dark side to make him into a monster. Like, bro, like, come on, bro. Like, come on, what are we talking about? Any spawn of Satan, any spawn of the devil, I rebuke you. In fact, double it and give it to the next It's 40 past midnight. So? The grind don't stop, nigga. Go to bed out here watching this demonic stuff. Nah, it's a true crime. You like true crime, so you'd love this. Keep watching, bro. There's 25 minutes left. Enjoy, fam. I know you like true crime. You may as well stay.
Or just simply theatrics to complement the copious amounts of bondage and sadomasochism that she and her father practiced.
That's so buzz, bro.
The two became very close friends with a man named Kenneth Lee, a 43-year-old loner from Florida, a flamboyant gay man who was rumored to have a steady supply of drugs. Roy and Jessie visited him frequently.
Steady supply of drugs.
Neighbors described seeing Roy visit him especially often, leaving with a devious smile on his face. It's unclear what really happened, but when police were called to do a welfare check on Kenneth Lee on New Year's Day in 1996, after neighbors had complained of a foul smell coming from his apartment, they found his badly decomposed body in the front room. Splashes of blood were found all around, along with black candles and pentagrams drawn on the table. Amazingly, Kenneth's death was ruled a suicide by metallic poisoning when they found a doorknob lodged in his rectum and his stomach filled with screws and bolts. No charges have ever been filed. In July of 1997, the following year, a former girlfriend of his that he had at one time been extremely close with, Marie Parker, was in dire financial ruin, homeless. She pitched a tent on the shores of Elephant Butte Lake and dropped her children off with a friend. Deciding to make a run to score some drugs, she agreed to meet with Jessie and Roy. She ended up at knife point in the back seat of David Parker Ray's truck driven by Jessie, as Roy restrained his former lover in the back seat.
No charge, bro.
According to Roy's confession, they drove to David Ray's home, and she was introduced to the toy box. He claims he never went inside, where Jessie and her father kept Marie for 3 days.
So he's saying that he never stepped foot into a torture box when he was girlfriends with the daughter of this deranged killer and her as well, because she's doing the same thing. Never stepped foot in there once, but she told you about it, and you never stepped foot in there once. Shut the fuck up, bro. Like, stop lying, bro. Come on, bro. It takes a pretty dumb person to believe such a story.
During that time, police organized a massive search and rescue operation in an effort to find Marie. At the end of the 3 days, Jessie and her father told Roy that they were done with her, and that it was time for her to go. Then, they brought Roy inside the toy box. Roy claims that he walked inside to find his naked and helpless ex-girlfriend Marie strapped to the gynecological chair. Jessie handed him a rope and said, "You know what you have to do." With so much police scrutiny into Marie's disappearance, David and Jesse were going to take no chances with her being found after they got what they wanted from her. David started the video recorder, and Roy approached Marie with the rope. He claims that as Jesse pointed a gun at him, he strangled Marie to death with the rope. The videotape was never found, and it's been hypothesized that David sold the tape as a snuff film, like he had done many other times.
That's fucked.
In Roy's confession to police a few years later, he claims that he, Jesse, and David wrapped her body in a blanket, drove to Monticello Canyon near Truth or Consequences, and tossed her body into the ravine, descending down with shovels to bury it under loose dirt under cover of darkness.
That is actually fucked.
The following day, Roy and Jesse left town and went to stay with an acquaintance in Galveston, Texas.
But that is fucked.
They stayed for an entire year, waiting for the disappearance of Marie Parker to blow over.
That's so fucked.
Years later, Roy led
What the
police to
fuck
the
is-
exact
yo.
spot they buried her, but she was nowhere to be found. Roy speculated that David Ray must have returned later and removed the body, depositing it elsewhere.
This is what happens to people who like Steven Universe as a kid instead of regular show. Fucking guy, bro. Yo. Nah, but this is tapped.
As if this strange cast of characters needed any more to make this strange story any more complex. That's exactly what happened soon after Roy and Jesse returned to Truth or Consequences a year later.
Okay.
Returning to the local bar scene, they drank and partied hard, soon gaining the attention of a woman who had moved to town while they were away named Cindy Hendy. It was later discovered that Cindy was herself on the run from the law, moving down to Truth or Consequences to hide from the police in Washington state. With a rap sheet dating all the way back to 1979 with felonies such as larceny, forgery, and drugs and fraud, she wasn't about to go back to prison after trying to sell cocaine to an undercover cop. In a strange three-way relationship dynamic, Cindy soon began dating both Jesse and Roy, occasionally using David Parker Ray's trailer as a sort of love nest. Soon, David became involved in the arrangement as well, throwing lewd free-for-all parties, with everyone sharing everyone.
Wait. It doesn't look like I'm paying attention because I'm looking at my phone, but trust me, I'm paying attention. Are you telling me, am I hearing this right? Are you telling me, right, that these two met this woman at the top in a club? I'm pretty sure is what they said. They ended up having a freeway relationship. And then, bear in mind, the woman on the bottom right is the daughter of the man in the middle with the mustache. Included the dad in the freeway, made it a fucking square. And they were all just fucking each other.
Cindy was especially interested in the bondage scene.
America,
and they
bro.
enthusiastically introduced her to their own personal flavor of it.
Right.
Except Cindy was not going to be a victim of it. As time went on, she and David became much closer, and the relationship between them became exclusive. Roy had since begun a relationship with a man named David Riviera, and Cindy did her best to become a dutiful housewife figure for David Ray, fixing him lavish meals,
What? What? So the freeway that became that became a square, then became the woman from the club specifically just liking the psycho killer dad. Then it was back to them two, and then the guy decided to have a relationship with another man, and then the girl who's the daughter just wanted to be a good housewife and stay to cook and clean. Their brains are 50% liquid, I swear. Their brains are 100% horse shit, bro. That's what it is. Bro, like, what? What am I...
Cleaning his house and doing everything that she could to get his affection towards her, trying to fight off the competition of another woman fighting for David Ray's affection at the same time. On Halloween of 1998, David Ray threw a party in his trailer complete with alleged instances of black magic and witchcraft, performed by Cindy, who had been recently introduced to witchcraft by Roy Yancey. After a supposed black magic sacrifice to the devil, Cindy loudly announced her relationship with David Parker Ray to all the guests in attendance.
A sacrifice of what?
Which many found strange, since she was openly also having a relationship with his daughter Jessie at the same time. Cindy and David became close very quickly. David found an equal in Cindy, or at least someone impressionable enough and wild enough to be molded into the kind of companion that he desired most. Slowly, he started letting her in closer and closer, revealing more about himself, testing the waters of what she was capable of handling. Finally, it was time to put her to the test.
Rebuke anything
Cindy
to
told
do
David that she was going out of town
with
for a wedding.
Satanism. Rebuke.
Leaving him behind
Get
without
that
someone to
shit out of
satisfy
it.
his deviant carnal desires was unacceptable to him.
Get that shit out.
By this point, she was so far deep into the darkness he brought her into that the suggestion that he threw her didn't even faze her for a minute. They decided that it was time to kidnap a woman to keep as a sex slave for David while she was away.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Bringing her into the toy box,
Jesus
he
fucking
gave her the
Christ.
grand tour and demonstrated on dolls his scientific and methodical practiced art of inflicting pain. She eagerly
Jesus
absorbed
fucking
every
Christ.
word, and he gave her an 18-point list that he had produced through the years of practice.
I don't know if I want to read this. I'm going to read maybe one or two and probably stop from there. Recreation room. Place her body under the suspension, something, and her under the chains, and lock her wrists while above her head. Bitch, slut. I'm assuming call her a bitch, slut, etc. Place the neck chain around her neck and lock it into place. It is permanent. Clip her leg irons to the floor chain. Use scissors to slowly remove her dress, blouse, sweater. Cut and remove the bra. Fondle and abuse her breast and other parts of her body.
Practice at his dark craft. It was a set of instructions for kidnapping and torture.
Right.
The list is graphic, abhorrent, and I'm unwilling to read it in this video, but I'll leave a link to
Play with her.
a paste bin post
I'm
with the
reading.
list in the
I'm not
description
reading. I can't, I'm not
if you
reading that.
really want to read it.
I'm reading.
Over the next 2 years or so, Cindy Hendy was no longer an innocent bystander, simply an enabler, or even an accessory.
Bro, look at this clap shoe, bro. No, look at it, bro. Look at it, bro. Look at it, bro. Please look at it. What the fuck is that? What is that? It looks like something I've stepped on multiple times, and then I'd look at the underneath my shoe or slipper and go, oh, what is that? That's what it looks like. What the fuck is that, bro? Ugh.
Cindy Hendy became an accomplice, just as deviant, just as cruel,
Why is it only ever white
and
people
just
that
as
think
guilty
the same?
as David Parker Ray himself,
Like,
for the
actually?
kidnap, torture, and murder
Now you got
of
a step-by-step
untold women,
instruction. Bro.
just as eager to sadistically inflict pain and terror as her hopeful future husband.
Bro, forget the step-by-step instruction. The fact that there's even instructions is blowing my mind. Bro. So the catfish from earlier, fucking hell, she does. Something that needs to be shot because it's so fucking like hideous. Like, what is that, bro? She's like the random SpongeBob that just be in the background, bro.
It was night when David Parker Ray and Cindy Hendy arrived in Albuquerque, seeking their next victim. After speaking with a local pimp and offering $30 for services, a 22-year-old Cynthia Virgil Jaramillo stepped into the rusty, beat-up RV. As she entered the back of the camper, Ray produced a badge telling her that they were law enforcement. She tried to make a break for it, back the way she came, but she was overpowered by the two of them, and a black leather mask slipped over her head, casting everything into blackness. Hours later, she found herself chained and bound, and as the mask was removed, she heard a voice coming from a nearby recording. Days later, after suffering unspeakable amounts of pain, terror, and abject humiliation at the hands of Ray and Hendy, Cynthia lay inside the house, chained to the bed. David was at work, while Cindy was in the kitchen preparing sandwiches. Although she was still chained and locked firmly in place, the keys to her restraints were carelessly left just out of reach. With little time before Cindy would surely come back, she inched her way closer and closer to the keys. Fumbling and trying not to make any noise, she managed to unlock herself. Knowing there was precious little time, she reached for the phone, dialing 911. Before she could connect, Cindy burst into the room and they fought ferociously, Cynthia knowing full well that her life was at stake. They punched and kicked and clawed at one another. Cynthia reached out and grabbed a hold of a nearby ice pick and ferociously stabbed Cindy in the skull, leaving a giant gash.
Yes, I'm calling for a young lady that ran into the house. She says she's just been raped. She's got her chain on her and everything. Send someone right away. This lady's naked and everything else. She said they've been holding her for 3 days.
After the police rescued her, after she was hiding in the trailer that was previously mentioned, the officers received notice of a 911 hang-up call only blocks away. In a town this small, where nothing happens, there was no way that this was not connected. Rushing to 513 Bass Road, the officers banged on the door.
That was her
Receiving no answer, they allowed themselves in with probable cause of trouble.
Fuck.
Finding shattered glass, blood, and endless amounts of pulley systems and chains, they called for backup. They would need far more than backup. What they witnessed in the brief glance around David Parker Ray's home was far more than the tiny police department of Elephant Butte was equipped to handle.
The horror of Elephant Butte.
Nothing ever happens in Elephant Butte, a small town of 1,300 people, most of them over the age of 65. No one could have expected the absolute pandemonium, as more than 100 investigators from the New Mexico State Police and the FBI swarmed the town, and especially 513 Bass Road. Dozens of news stations from around the world, helicopters circling overhead all day. The quiet little town of Elephant Butte, where nothing ever happened, had just been put on the map and was now known throughout the world, but for all the wrong reasons. Investigators swarmed the small property, dividing it into 8 distinct search areas. They were having trouble getting a certain white cargo trailer open, and the keys were nowhere to be found. It took the locksmith only a few moments to get the deadbolt lock open. FBI Special Agent John Briscoe opened the small door into the cargo trailer and stepped inside. Holy shit. He saw the chair, the syringes, the whips, the chains, strange metallic bars, labeled ankle spreader and knee spreader, the satanic imagery adorning the shelves, and a video camera. Could there possibly be actual video evidence of what the hell happened in here? 36-year-old FBI agent Patty Rust crowded around the monitor inside the toy box with a few of her fellow agents as they loaded the first of hundreds of tapes found around the property. All of them hands over their mouths, trying to hide the absolute shock of the things that they saw before them on the screen.
Tapes.
Despite years of work covering the worst crimes imaginable, they were still unprepared for what they saw on the screen before them. They'd seen enough for now. They ejected the tape and each exited the toy box. One of them vomited on the ground as soon as they got outside. It was far worse than anything any of them had ever encountered before. Patty was asked to go back inside and create detailed sketches of everything that she found within to hand over to the evidence response team. She did as she was asked. Over the course of 5 days, she spent hours sketching every detail of every horrible thing that she found in there, getting a closer look at the horrors than anyone would ever feel comfortable with. After 5 days, she turned in her assignment and was told to go home and get some rest. She returned to her family in El Paso, Texas. Just before midnight that night, she took out a revolver, held it against her head, and ended her own life.
Nah. Yo. 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 Yeah, yo. Bro. Are you not deep in it? Bro, no, niggas aren't deep in it, bro. She was assigned to look at every single tape that was ever filmed on that camera. She looked at every single tape that was ever filmed on that camera. She looks, does her report, writes down what needs to be written down on her report, hands it in. She hands in her report. Goes back to her hometown. Grabs her gun and blams her. Bro. Boss is evil as well. I can't blame the boss too much, I can't lie. The only reason why I can't blame the boss, at the end of the day, this is their job, they have to do this. What I think is wrong is only assigning one person to see the horrors that went on in that box. That's the only thing I can say. That's what I mean. Oh, okay, cool. I can't lie. Shit, man. I can't even begin to imagine what she saw in those tapes. I can't even begin to imagine. She saw over 100 tapes of this Donnie, the daughter, and the other woman, and then the man taking part in the killing and torturing of these women. Over 100 tapes. We're not deep in it. Over 100 tapes. R.I.P. to that FBI agent. I can't lie. R.I.P. That's fucking ridiculous. That's crazy. I can't lie. That's
preliminary
crazy.
hearing and eventual
crazy.
Trials of David Parker Ray, Jesse Ray, Roy Yancey, and Cindy Hendy were every bit as intricate, complex, twisted, and dramatic as the case itself, and probably deserves its own video on its own. I'll try and get through the most important aspects for the sake of time, though. As evidence was collected and leads were pursued, police arrested not only David Ray and Cindy Hendy, but they also arrested Jesse Ray and Roy Yancey. Jessie never once betrayed her father and never cooperated with the police. She never admitted to the murders that she herself committed or was an accessory to. David Parker Ray proclaimed his innocence, vehemently telling investigators that not only was Cynthia Virgil a willing participant in a bondage session, but so was every other woman who ever entered his toy box, despite mountains of incriminating footage that they had.
These are the type of people that you just want to shoot in. I can't lie. Like in GTA, whatever, cool. But like, bro, I hate people like this, bro. You know that you've got a video camera in your little torture box. You've recorded every single woman, if not almost every single woman you brought in there. You know what's on those tapes. And you're going to sit here and lie to me and tell me you didn't do it. You're innocent. This is a big misunderstanding. And then to the main man himself, the monster. You're going to sit here and tell me I didn't even get to watch. If I'm the FBI agent, I didn't even get to watch all the tapes. That was another woman that you killed because of your sickness. I only saw a couple and heard some of the audio logs. And you're saying that these were willing participants, knowingly, with the things that you said in some of these tapes, that you're going to do this and that and the third to her. You're going to treat her like a slave, and you're going to do whatever else. Yeah. Cut the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Cut the bullshit in it, like cut the bullshit, bro. At that point, you just want to get up and just blam him, like, cause what, bro, man?
Where the women showed no signs of consent. Cindy vehemently claimed no wrongdoing either, defying all evidence against her.
Shoot all
Both
of them.
Appeared before the court at their
Shoot
arraignment, facing 93 years in jail each,
bro.
$85,000 in fines, and bonds of $1 million. Facing the very real possibility of spending the rest of her life in jail, she became angry with David, blaming him for sucking her into what she later called his stupid bondage fantasies. She asked to meet with investigators and gave a full confession to everything she witnessed, was a part of, what he had told her about the other crimes that he had committed. She told them everything. If what she told them was true, it would make David Parker Ray one of the most sophisticated, thorough, and prolific serial killers in all of American history. Police had already found a map of Elephant Butte Lake with X's marked in various locations, and suspected there must be bodies. But this was the first actual link confirming their suspicions. Of particular interest to investigators was her telling of an old boyfriend, Roy Yancey, who told her that he had killed the missing Marie Parker, who had been missing since 1997.
From what I understand is that he's had many years of kidnapping, torturing, and killing women.
How did you come up with the idea to kill Marie?
That was David Ray Parker's idea. I know they ended up giving me a rope and telling me to strangle her. And she wasn't dying fast enough.
Okay, but you said she wasn't dying fast enough. Was she struggling, or?
Yeah, she was struggling. I was told not to tell anybody anything, or I was going to be killed and thrown in the ditch.
And who told you that?
David.
He would soon be brought in, and he confessed as well, leading police to the place that he, Jesse, and David Ray had dumped the body, only to discover upon their arrival that the body had been moved and disposed of elsewhere. As the trials went on for the kidnapping and torture of Kelly Van Cleve and Cynthia Virgil Jaramillo, with several dramatic moments themselves, David continued to proclaim his innocence. Even as the prosecutor played the enormously incriminating 45-minute orientation tape that he played for his victims, he continued to proclaim that it was all created for entertainment purposes.
Are you comfortable right now? I doubt it. Wrists and ankles chained, gagged, probably blindfolded. You are disoriented and scared too, I would imagine. You are obviously here against your will. Totally helpless. You've been snatched and brought here for us to train and use as a sex slave. You sound kind of far out. Well, I suppose it is to the uninitiated, but we do it all the time.
It wasn't until he realized how much legal trouble his daughter Jessie was in that he decided to change his tune. In exchange for her immediate release, he would plead guilty to all the charges against him for kidnapping and torturing Cynthia and Kelly. He would accept the maximum sentence in exchange for Jessie walking free from responsibility for her involvement in any of it.
That they can't have agreed to that. Surely. They can't have agreed to that. She was involved in the murders. They can't agree to that.
In September 2001, facing 12 counts of kidnapping, criminal penetration, and conspiracy to kidnap, Glenda Jean Jessie Ray walked out of prison with time served.
Just raided with 4 viewers. W Fish for the raid, man. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. We're almost finished as well, by the way. We're almost finished, bro. I think we got like 6 minutes, bro. Bro, I can't lie, this is nuts. I can't lie, this is nuts, innit? Like, this is actually insane, but fuck.
She was given 5 years probation and is today a free woman. She left prison
Thank you for the follow, Hazel
victorious
K.
and
I
defiant.
appreciate the follow,
Hazel
gang.
K
Thank
just-
you.
Roy
Thank
Yancey,
you.
who allegedly killed at least 2 people himself,
Thank you for the follow, gang. I appreciate
accepted a
that.
plea deal. He was released on parole in 2011 and is a free man to this day as well, living back in Truth or Consequences. Incredibly, he's even active on social media.
The girlfriend of suspected serial killer David Parker Ray is about to get out of prison next week after serving only about half her sentence.
Cindy Hendy served only half her sentence. She never expressed any remorse for her crimes, only self-pity for the situation she found herself in suffering for her crimes, blaming David for sucking into his stupid bondage fantasies, as she put it. Although she had numerous infractions while in prison, including possession of contraband and drugs, she walked out of
Hey,
prison
so how you doing? You good?
on July 15th, 2019, and is now a free woman with no supervision by the state. As vivid and
There comes a time and a place, yeah. You gotta look at America as a country and just say, finished. Finished. You're telling me Ray only got about, I think he only got about 12 years. For all of this, he got 12 years. Cynthia, the girlfriend of this deranged fucker, got 20 years. She got released in 2019. And then what? The daughter, who has been taken part of these things, it has been released, and there is no supervision whatsoever. Not even an ounce of supervision after what she did, after the hundreds of victims that she was a part of. Never, bro. Bye.
believed at the time that he was guilty of as many as 30 murders over the course of his life. A 2011 jailhouse interview with Cindy Hendy
30?
put the
What?
estimate much higher when she mentioned that he had once told her that he had killed at least one per year for the previous 40 years of his life, beginning at the age of 14 to 15. Police searched the lake, his property, everywhere. They searched for years. They could never locate a single body, despite having mountains of evidence that he had committed countless murders. Although they could even witness some of these killings on tape,
I
none
just
of the
saw
victims
Demon
could
Slayer.
even be
We're gonna talk
identified.
about that in a sec. We'll
Since
talk
they
about
couldn't
it.
determine a
But,
victim,
yo.
they couldn't determine a crime. After accepting the plea deal for his daughter Jessie's release, he went back to court for sentencing 8 months later. The judge handed him not only the maximum sentence, but added an additional third as aggravation for the brutality of his crimes,
Oh, so he did get
for a total of
sentence.
223 years in prison. As David Parker Ray entered his cell in prison, he slumped over and died of a heart failure.
He died of a heart failure in prison. Clap it up for death, man. I can't lie, man. He deserves the death. I can't lie, man. Clap it up for his death, man. I can't lie. This bastard deserved to die. He deserved every ounce of death you could name in the book. This guy has to be one of the worst people I've ever heard in my life. One of the worst.
In 2002, having served less than a day of his
It's not
formal
French.
sentence.
What was it? I don't know.
The brutality and heinous nature of the crimes committed by David Parker Ray from the 1950s through 1999 is without.
The toy box remains on the lot of the FBI field office in Albuquerque till this day. I was about to ask if they burned this shit. They have not burned it. They've kept it and it's still there till this day. Have a day off, bro. Why is it not burned?
Parallel. His ability to con and charm people into his circle to become not only enablers, but vested accomplices is a testament to the effectiveness for persuasion that a charming psychopath can possess. Between the 4 known accomplices of these crimes, a combined approximate total of 34 years of prison.
Wait. So the daughter only got 2 years? No way. Have I just read that properly? The daughter only got 2 years. We know why David got 2 years, because he died, he had a heart attack. Fuck him. Good. Rest in eternal hellfire. But the daughter only got 2 years. Astaghfirullah, man.
Time was served between them. Other than the late David Parker Ray himself, all of them walk free among us today. One might wonder
all free, by
what
the
people
way,
as calculating
walking among
and
us
evil
today.
as these might do with their freedom. What darkness do they still harbor? What remorse do they feel for their actions? Although this is nigh unknowable to you or I do believe that we all must stand and account for our actions, whether in this life or the next. I'd like to thank you for spending your time with me today. I hope I've earned a subscription and a recommendation to your friends. Your continued support and viewership of my content is more than enough, but for those of you who'd be interested in going above and beyond to support this channel and independent content creation, I'm pleased to announce the launch of my Patreon, which is available.
I don't give a fuck about your Patreon, bitch. And I can't lie, that is insane.